यतः प्रविश्यामपाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणां नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चाविव्रता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. 42. गाम्भीर्यं परिखापदं घनकृतिः प्राकारबुद्ध्यद्गुणस्तोमश्चाप्तबलं घनेन्द्रियचयः द्वाराणि देहे स्थितः विद्यावस्तु समृद्धिरित्यखिलसामग्री समेते सदा दुर्गातिप्रियदेव मामकमनो दुर्गे निवासं कुरु मा गच्छत्वमितस्ततो गिरिशभो मय्येव वासं कुरु स्वामिन्नादिकिरातमामकमनः कान्तारसीमान्तरे वर्तन्ते मरुतो मृगामदजुषः मात्सर्यमोहादयः तान् हत्वा मृगया विनोदरुचिता लाभं च सम्प्राप्स्यसि करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधा तारैस्फलैर्दीपिते चेतः पक्षिशिखामणेत्यजवृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगली नीले विहारं कुरु आकीर्णेन खराजिकान्तिविभवैरुद्यत्सुधावैभवैः आधौ यूतेऽपि च पद्मरागललिते हंसव्रजैराश्रिते नित्यं भक्तिवधूगणैश्च रहसि स्वेच्छाविहारं कुरु स्थित्वा मानसराजहंसगिरिजनाथाङ्घ्रिसौधान्तरे. We have done up to 46. At verse 27, so I said that there is a transition from one meter to the other meter. You may recall. So up to 27, he had used 1 meter, and after that he has started another meter. The later meter is the Shardula Vikridita meter. Earlier it was Shikhari. So that could be considered as a Nakshatramala, and then later he starts. Up to 43, this has continued. So he has used only Shardula Vikridita. Verse 44, in fact I wanted to say something in the previous class. So this is some peculiar meter which you may not find frequently employed by people in various texts. That's why you might have had even a little problem in reading it. It can be either conceived as a Matra Vrta or Varna Vrta. Karalagna Mrgah Karindra Bhangaha. If you count the number of syllables, Karalagna Mrgah Karindra Bhangaha, you will get 11 in the first quarter. Count the second quarter. Ghana Shardula Vikhanda Nosta Jantuhu. You will get 12. So normally they are Samavritta. So in all the quarters you will get the same. Once again, if you look at the third quarter, Girisho Vishadak Tischa Cheta 11. Chetah Kuhare, of course, it combines with the fourth quarter. Kuhare Pancha Mukhosti Me Kuto Bhi. You will get 12. So it is 11, 12, 11, 12. So this is some peculiar meter, and this meter is actually called Malabharini. Malabharini Vrittam. So Malabharini Vrittam. So this word also is somewhat unusual. Mala we know. Bharati iti bhari. You can think of Malabharin. So Malabharini. So this is some name that has been given anyway. So let us not get into that. Malabharini Vrittam. This is what it is called. This is also another kind of a name which is described by Aupachandasikam. Okay, Aupachandasika is the name that is given. So people have listed out the ganas that are available. The ganas are somewhat similar only. If you see between the first and the second. So in the first one you will find 3 ganas. Okay, and then the second one will obviously have 4 ganas because it has 12 varnas, right? So 3 ganas and then couple of gurus. So the other one will have 4 ganas. More or less they are same, only the 4th syllable actually varies. The 4th syllable actually varies. So something has been introduced in the second and the 4th quarter, otherwise it is more or less similar. Anyway, so this is one peculiar meter that has been adopted. Once again, Bhagavad Pada comes back to use Shardula Vikredita. So there is another interesting verse which is a very beautiful verse on Saraswati, which has been composed in Malabharini Vritta. So that I will teach you now. There is a nice verse to learn. We normally say Saraswati Namastubhyam Yagundendu and so on. This also can be adopted by us. Okay. Sharanam Karavani Sharmadam Te.
Sharanam Karavani Sharmadam Te. Sharanam Karavani Sharmadam Te.
Charanam Vani.
Charanam Vani. Charanam Vani.
Characharopajivyam.
Characharopajivyam. Characharopajivyam.
Karunamasrinaihi.
Karunamasrinaihi. Karunamasrinaihi.
Katakshapataihi.
Katakshapataihi. Katakshapataihi.
Kurumamamba.
Kurumamamba. Kurumamamba.
Kritarthasarthavaham.
Kritarthasarthavaham. Kritarthasarthavaham.
So this verse is written by Mallinatha at the beginning of his commentary of Raghuvamsha. So this is the third verse. There are a few verses available there. So he says, Sharanam Karavani. So I surrender unto your feet. Where Charanam, that comes in the second quarter. Charanam Karavani. Charanam, Kidrisham Charanam. Sharmadam is the phrase that he uses. See, Sharmadam, see, Sharma means Sukham. Sharma Shata Sukhani Cha. So Sharmadam Te Charanam. So Sharmadam Te Charanam Sharanam Karavani. And further he describes Characharopajivyam. So Characharopajivyam. So Charanam, that is a qualifier to that. Karuna Masrunai Katakshapataihi. So he prays. So at the beginning of writing commentary, so it is the Saraswati Kataksha that is required for him to appreciate what exactly that has been conveyed by Kalidasa, so that he can effectively convey to the audience through his commentary. And therefore, what is sought after by him is Kritartha Sarthavaham. Kurumam Amba. Hey Amba, Mam Evam Kuru. So what is prayed by him? Kritartha Sarthavaham. So may I be the carrier of the right meaning. Okay. So appropriate phrases have to be employed, particularly while interpreting others' work. Therefore, he offers this. This is a beautiful verse. So which is again in this Malabharini. Sharanam Karavani Sharmadam Te. You also see lot of prasa in this. Nana. At least how many times? Sharanam Karavani, Charanam Vani, Karuna Masrinaihi. Every quarter, first 3 quarters, you have na. And then once again, many words start with ka. See, Karuna Masrinaihi. Katakshapataihi kurumamam vakritartha sarthavaham characharopajivim. There is a lot of anuprasa in this. This is a beautiful verse. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to just point this out to you. And let us move on to now verse. There is one more thing that I wanted to tell you. This is a very nice verse. I was looking for, there are a few verses which we have been seeing where he is addressing either his mind, okay, so or he is trying to say that Paramashiva come and dwell here. So there are a lot of things that are available. So the same trend continues in a few verses. In this verse particularly, the 44 which we discussed now, Malabharini Vritta. So he described Parameshwara by the word Panchamukha, right? And we also saw that the word Panchamukha means lion, okay? So the Pancha, so it is from the word Pachi Vistarana. So from that this came. Now there is a certain Alankara which is called Vibhavana Alankara. So I was just thinking about it. There are multiple types of Vibhavana. So I will give you one particular explanation for this. Okay. So you take the definition first. Vibhavana vina pisyat.
Vibhavana vina pisyat.
Vibhavana vina pisyat. Karanam karya janma chet. Karanam karya janma chet. Karanam karya janma chet. So what do you understand? Vibhavana vinapi syat karanam karya janma chet. Karya janma karanam vinapi yadi syat. Yadi syat means in the description of the poet. If you find the description of the poet, that he describes a certain effect without the karana being present, then it is Vibhavana. Vibhavana vinapi syat karanam karya janma chet. Karya janma yadi varnitam syat karana bhavepi idatra Vibhavana. So this is how one has to understand. So this can be applied to this verse in two ways. So one particular way I will just explain now. See this, suppose we may have to do a certain adhyahara here. So what is he trying to say? Kuto bhihi is what he is asking. Me kuto bhihi. Where is the question now? Fear for me, right? Where is the question of fear for me in asking this question? Okay. So there is a certain implication that the most powerful element is with me. Right? So Panchamukhosti. So this Panchamukhosti can be, so which Panchamukha? So there is the double entendre. So assume that the Panchamukha that is referred is the real line. Okay. So we also saw the features of the line and so on. So if the line were to be there as a Samrakshaka, so then you need not worry. Nowadays, people have dog as Samrakshaka. Understand? So that dog is Samrakshaka. Okay. So Shwa asti kuto me bhihi. So that is what they generally think. Now this Shwa asti, so you assume that line itself is there. Okay. And this line, so is at your command like the Shwa, and it is protecting you. Let us assume. That is what he actually means. So kuto bhihi, right? If that is there to protect me, then what is there for me to worry? Now, kuto bhihi, so this lion is not actually present. Mama hridaye, that physical line is not there. So if that were there, then there is no need for fearing. That is actually not there. But kuto bhihi, there is no fear, is what is the phala that is being described. Vastutaha panchamukhasya simhasya abhavepi. So bhitya bhavaha, bhitya bhava rupa karyam. Atra varnitam. Understand? So that is how one can assume it to be a vibhavana alankara. There are other ways of interpreting also, but you can just take it this, okay? So karanam vinapi karya janma. Vastutaha yadi simhasyat tarihi sarvapekshaya balavatvat tena samrakshitoham bhitya bhavavan. So this is abhipraya. So bhitya bhava rupa karya janma karana bhavepi varnitam is a way of understanding this vibhavana alankara here. Okay? There are other ways of looking at vibhavana also, but this is sufficient for now. Okay? So the standard example of this which is given is apyalaksharasa-siktam, 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 raktam tvacharanambujam, raktam tvacharanambujam, raktam tvacharanambujam. He is just describing the Nayika's pada. Okay. So if you apply, what is that called? It's a red thing they apply, no? So that Raksharasa, if it is applied, then it will be red. But without applying that, your Padaravinda is Rakta. So naturally it has that color. So Raksharasa sechanena vinapi etat Raktam. So Karana bhavepi karya janma. Something like that you have to understand. Okay. Now let us go to verse 47, which we have to start now. Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini,
Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini, Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini,
Hrida rame ghajirnachadaha,
Hrida rame ghajirnachadaha, Hrida rame ghajirnachadaha,
Sarasta bhaktilata chata vilasitaha,
Sarasta bhaktilata chata vilasitaha, Sarasta bhaktilata chata vilasitaha, Punya
Pravalashritaha
Punyapravalashrutāha Punyapravalashrutāha
Dipyante gunakorakaha
Dīpyante gunakorakaha Dīpyante gunakorakaha
Japavachah pushpani sadvasana
Japavachah pushpani sadvasana Japavachah pushpani sadvasana
Jnanananda
Jnanananda Jnanananda
Sudhamarandalahari
Sudhamarandalahari Sudhamarandalahari
Sambit phalabhyunnatihi
Sambit phalabhyunnatihi Sambit phalabhyunnatihi.
So in this verse, Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridarami. So this word Arama refers to garden. So Hridarami means he is describing his Hridaya as an Arama. That is a wonderful description of what one expects of a garden which is likely to attract us towards that. So that is what basically this verse is. So it is basically a description of a beautiful garden which is filled with features that are really alluding the person to come towards that. So with this description, the implied meaning, Vingartha here is, hey Paramashiva, come and stay here. So that is what is explicitly not stated in this verse. Deepyante is the Kriya Padam here. So Deepyante means these are things which are shining here, okay, glowing in this garden. So there are a few features which are described. They are highly poetic in nature. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini. The gardens will actually be all the more beautiful in Vasanta Kala. Okay. Vasanta Kala. So here Shambhudhyanam itself is described as Vasanta Kala here. So Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridarami. Okay. So Hridaya is the Arama, the garden. And this garden is actually presenting itself in Vasanta Kala. Okay. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini. So it has to go as a qualifier to Arama. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridarami. So the garden currently is, see, the gardens may be really beautiful in certain seasons. In certain other seasons they may not be beautiful. Suppose you go to US. So in November, December, gardens may not be beautiful unless they are. So everything would have fallen. No? Okay. So Vasanta Kala it has to come, then it will be really beautiful. So Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridarami. See, Hritu eva Aramaha Hridaramaha. So this garden, so you see the first word Shambhudhyana and then Vasanta. The second phrase Hridarami is Hritu and Arama. So the Vasanta is associated with that Arama and Shambhudhyana is associated with Hrit. So this Hridaya, so Hridaya getting associated with Shambhudhyana is like the garden associated with the spring season. Okay. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridarami. So in that garden, what are the things that you can see? Now the effect of Shambhudhyana is beautifully described in the later phrases, as you can see. What will happen because of that? Okay. So he says, Aghajirnachadaha. Aghajirnachadaha. See, the word chada is referring to achadaka is one meaning. Now here chadaha, jirna is a word which is used as an adjective to chada. So what will become jirna? The leaves will become jirna. Okay. The old ones will just fall. The fresh ones will start coming up. Right. So this Vasanta Kala. So this is what is the feature of it. Now he says, Aghajirna chadaha srastaha. Srastaha means they are just falling off. What is falling off? The leaves in the form of papa. Understand? Once the Shambhudhyana comes, the papa just falls off. Okay? Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini hridarame. That particular season is what he is choosing. So Aghajirnachadaha. So Jirnachadaha. Okay. Sarastaha. So they will just start falling. Now this word chada so is having interesting meaning. So which I will tell you. There are two different meanings that one can think of chada. Two ways of deriving. So both are presented in kavyas in usage. One is so that which, as you were mentioning, achadanam. Now one can think of the chada actually to be providing a certain shelter, right? So once the leaves are fully there, therefore one can call that as chada. There is another meaning which is associated with the word chada. Okay? So that has to do with urjanam. Okay? One is achadanam, the other is urjanam. Urjanam means providing strength, bala, urja, you see, energetic you see. So this chada is used in that sense also. See, chadayati putram pita means, so by providing, okay, so various kinds of nourishment, putram pita, it can be either by words or it can be by providing material resources also. So why am I saying this? I am saying this because this is an interesting usage. See, though we have so many words for leaf, we have various words for leaf. So this particular usage is quite interesting to note, that they have understood that it is only these leaves that provides the nourishment for. They actually process and then use the necessary nourishment for the tree to grow well. So if they are not there, then that's all finished. Okay. So balayati, urjayati. So in that sense also the word is used. In fact, this also is used, chada is also used to refer to this wings are feather of the birds. Okay. So there also it provides in some sense. So both these meanings are applicable to that also. That is how they use this word, the choice of the word. Now you see, jirnachadaha sarastaha, aghajirnachadaha sarastaha. Then he says, bhaktilata chata vilasitaha. Once you start doing this dhyana, then Bhaktilata chhata vilasitaha. Lata is creeper. So bhakti is described as lata. So the various creepers all start growing. So they are all blooming, blossoming, shining, glowing with bhakti lata chhata vilasitaha. Bhakti lata chhataha. So chhataha basically means sanghaha, samuha. Okay. Several creepers. Bhakti lata chhata vilasitaha. Then punya pravala shritaha. Punya pravala shritaha. So once this papa is gone and bhakti is there, so then the comparison here is, see, pravala is basically the various shoots that are coming up. And punya pravala shritaha. Okay, so they are all just shooting up. Deepyante gunakorakaha. Gunakorakaha. This deepyante is something which has to be taken for all. So it is all shining. This garden is shining with all these features. That is what he wants to say. Gunakorakaha. This koraka is used to refer to bud. Okay. So korakaha, kudmalaha. Deepyante gunakorakaha. So various virtues start building up. Okay. So with this person. So all this is when the Vasanta comes. Understand? So the Vasanta here is Shiva Dhyana. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini. Deepyante gunakorakaha. Then he says, what is the next stage? So buds are there. Pushpani. Japavachah pushpani. So Japavachah pushpani. So Japavachaha, you can take, Japa can be either Uchaihi or Mandam, both ways can be done. Japavachaha, and these are the flowers that come. Okay. So once this is nourished with bhakti, so then various stotras will be rendered by you. The various mantras will be chanted by you. Those flowers start blossoming. Japavachah pushpani sadvasana. So the sadvasana can be understood in both ways. So the sadvasana, so with respect to this fellow, this hridaya, with respect to this fellow, so this asad bhavanas are all gone and the sadvasana, so is increasing. Okay. So the vasana that he is developing is sadvasana now. So the other way with respect to the garden, so you have some nice fragrance which is coming out. Sadvasana. Okay. Then Jnanananda Sudha Marandalahari. This is a very interesting compound. Jnanananda Sudha Marandalahari. So what does Lahari mean? Waves, right? So here he is saying there are 4 words here before Lahari. So Jnana, Ananda, Sudha, Maranda. So first you have to form compound. Okay. So Jnanancha, Anandascha, Jnananandau. Then Sudhacha, Marandascha, Sudha, Marandau. So Jnananandaveva Sudha Marandau. So that is how he has been using. So whatever that is applicable to Hridaya, he will first say. Then whatever that is applicable to the garden, he will say later. So Jnananandau with reference to this Hridaya, and Sudhamarandau is with reference to the garden. So what is Marand? This Lahari is wave. So the wave of knowledge, the wave of happiness, and they are Sudhamarandau. Sudha has various meanings. Now let us take the Sudha to be water. Okay. And Maranda is something we can take it to be Makaranda. Understand? Now for a garden, there are two things which will be really making it very attractive. All these things may be there if there is also a stream of water flowing. Understand? So that will make it all the more attractive. Similarly, we should also think of nice fragrance which is moving in the air. Okay, these are the laharis. So lahari of water. So lahari of makaranda. See, once the flowers blossom, so they will all be carried. Okay, so we have to think of this lahari to be describing. Okay, so these two aspects. So this jnana, so there is another word, samvitphalabhyunnatihi, later. So jnanananda sudhamaranda lahari api atra deepyate. See, asmin arami. Okay. So this jnana, see, the more you, this is a very interesting continuous process that he is trying to describe. So you have dhyana, and then this jnana, to further engage with these kind of activities and try to remove yourself from those associations where you are distracted from this. Okay. So this jnana is a sort of reinforced jnana which makes you more and more develop sadvasana, and that is flowing. Okay, and as a result of that, Anandalahari. So it is this jnana, it is the water which actually will nourish all the things. There are two laharis that he is trying to describe. Jnanananda Sudhamaranda Lahari. So Sudha is Amritam basically. So water is described by Amrita. Several places you will see. Okay. Jnanananda Sudhamaranda Lahari. So this wave of water and the wave of wind. So mild flow with fragrance. So both are described here. Now finally samvitphalabhyunnatihi, he says. So samvitphalasya abhyunnatihi. So once there are flowers, so they have to turn into fruits. Okay. That is also there. So what is the fruit here? Sambideva fruit. So the sambit should be understood as different from the jnana that he was referring to earlier. So that jnana is, see, so jnana which will help you to engage with this devotion, a jnana which will help you to understand that other pursuits are not as meaningful as this. So that is that jnana. And this sambit should be understood as, see, this atma jnana, okay, brahma jnana. Tasya unnatihi means that will slowly start rising. Understand? So the sadvasana will help you gain this atma jnana in due course. Sambit phalabhyunnatihi. So this is a very beautiful description of a garden and then trying to invite Parameshwara to come and dwell in this garden. So that is the poetic aspect of this. Sadvasana. Sadvasana is only through these. So dhyana, japa and so on. The stotra dhyana. So all of them can be understood by the word japa. Okay. Stotra vachanam and other things, all of them. Okay. Now read. Shambhudhyānavasanta-sangini hृदा ramedhajirnachchadaha sarasta bhaktilata-chhata vilasitaha punya-pravalashrutāha दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरकाय भवतः पुष्पाणि सद्वासना ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः नित्यानन्दरसालयम्
नित्यानन्दरसालयम् नित्यानन्दरसालयम्
सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम्
सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम् सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम्
स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितम्
स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितम् स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितम्
कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम् कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
शम्भुध्यानसरोवरम्
शम्भुध्यानसरोवरम् शम्भुध्यानसरोवरम्
व्रजमनो हंसावतंसस्थिरम् व्रजमनो हंसावतंसस्थिरम् व्रजमनो हंसावतंसस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रय
किं क्षुद्राश्रय
पल्वलभ्रमण सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि. This verse is basically addressing one's own mind, as you can see from the phrase Manohamsa Vatamsa in the third quarter. Manohamsa Vatamsa. So it's the addressing word. So Hamsa Vatamsa means what is Avatamsa? Hamsa Vatamsa. Avatamsa means Shrestha. So Hamsavatamsaha. So Hamsa Shrestha. So which is the Hamsa Shrestha that is referred? Manaha. Hey Manaha Hamsavatamsa. He is asking this mind. The question is, Kim Shramam Prapsyasi? Why are you unnecessarily troubling yourself? Okay? So why are you causing pain for yourself? So this is what he is asking. And the pain is something which is described by Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmana Sanjata Shramam. Kim Shramam Prapsyasi? Is the question. But the Shrama is described graphically. Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmana. Kshudranam Ashrayaha Kshudrashrayaha. Okay? And Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmanam. So the word Palvala. Palvala refers to a small water body. Okay? Palvala. fact, in even Vedas, Palvalya Grunhati, it's a very old word, so which appears in even the Vedic corpus. So Palvalam, so Palvala Brahmanam, see, you can say Palvalamuddishya Brahmanam or Palvale Brahmanam. So whichever way one can understand. Okay. So Palvalamuddishya Brahmanam, let us assume. So Palvalamuddishya Brahmanam, see, he is basically addressing the Hamsa. So I am saying, oh Hamsa, there is beautiful, huge lake with all the features that you may like, with all the features that one would like to have. So if that were there, then why are you straining yourself too much to get into this Palvala? So this is the idea. Okay. So Kim Kshudrashraya Palvala. Kshudra means, so only some small creatures will be there in that pond. Whereas in that beautiful lake you have so many other things where you will be really rejoicing. Okay. Kshudrashraya Palvala. Okay. So Kshudrashraya. So this is Kshudrashraya is used, okay, with a double sense. So with reference to the mind, why are you looking after small petty things, which is only going to, he did not respect me, etc., etc., so many other things. He scolded me. So he looked at me like this. There are so many other things that people just drop them. These are Kshudrashraya Palvala. So that is how he describes. So by putting them into your mind, then you only trouble yourself. So why are you troubling yourself like this? So that is the idea that is conveyed here. Okay. Nityananda Rasalayam. Now let us see. What is the big sarovara that he has in his mind? Where he wants the samsavatamsa to go. So that is what is described in the first 3 quarters of the verse. Okay. Nityananda Rasalayam Suramuniswantam Bhujatahashrayam Swacham Sadvijasevitam Kalushahrit Sadvasana Vishkritam Shambhudhyana Sarovaram. See, the Sarovara is Shambhudhyana here. See, earlier verse he was describing the Shambhudhyana as Vasanta Kala. Okay. So here he is describing the Shambhudhyana as the Sarovara. Okay. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram. In the earlier verse, basically he wants to describe the scenario in which he wants Parameshwara to come and sit. Now he is just addressing his own mind that you have to get into Shambhudhyana. Okay. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Vraja. Vraja means may you go there. Okay. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Vraja. He Mano Hamsavatamsa Sthiram. Sthiram means, okay, so it can mean 2 things. So permanently you only seek for this. So which is a permanent locus where you can really feel happy. Okay. So always look for this is one way of saying. Okay. The other descriptions that we find in the first half of the verse are all basically describing this Sarovara. So how does he describe? Nityananda Rasalayam. So this Sarovara is going to give you happiness forever, eternal happiness. Okay. So other Anandas are temporal Anandas, whereas this is a Nityananda. If you go to this Sarovara, okay, so Nityananda Rasalayam. Rasalayam is basically the repository of that. Okay. Nityananda Rasalayam. Then he further describes Suramuniswantam Bhujatashrayam. Suramuniswantam Bhujatashrayam. See. So this Suraha Munayaha, so they are basically the lotuses which are in this Sarovara. Understand? So Swanta means Hridaya. Understand? Suramuni Swanta means Suranam Muninancha Swantam. And that Swanta is the Ambuja, so which is there. Okay. Suramuni Swantam Bhujatashrayam. So Ambujatam is the word that he is actually using. Ambujatani. Okay. So Ambuja is sufficient, but Ambujata is what is used. Suramuni Swantam Bhujatashrayam. Okay. Suramuni Swantanyeva Ambujani. So Tesham Ashrayam means, so this has plenty of such lotuses. Okay. Of great people dwelling in, being happy there. Swachham, absolutely pure. Swachham Sadvijasevitam. Okay. So Sadvijaha means right people are there. So you will not go and get bad association there. So you go there. So Sadvijasevitam. Okay. So Sadvijasevitam. Swachham Sadvijasevitam. So the other way you can understand this, so from a poetic viewpoint is, you don't think that you will have no companion. So if you take this Manaha as a Hamsa, then you can also describe Sadvija as other companions. You will have other companions. Dvija, they are also Dvijas. Understand? So you will have your own companions. Swachham Sadvijasevitam. Okay. Then Kalushahrit. Kalushahrit. So Kalushahrit, in one sense you can understand the word Kalusha to be the papa, the asadvasanas that you have. From a physical viewpoint, even if you want to say by flowing, suppose you have accumulated some dirt, you go and dip there. Okay, this hamsa, this dirt will also be taken because that is swacha. Kalushahrit. Then Sadvasana Vishkritam. So Sadvasana Vishkritam. So there this Sadvasana is something, this is something which one has to really experience. So when we get into some good association and good thoughts, then so the effect of it will be, so further other similar thoughts will come. If you go into asat, so this will more and more produce this. Okay. So sadvasana. So that is why the other day I was telling you this verse, no? The Shambhudhyana. What is the verse he said? Narayaniyam, I was saying the verse. Punanti papam nalulanti vasanam. See. Ananta sevatu nikrantati dvayim iti prabhot purusha babhashire. So this Shruti Smritibhyam Vihita Vratadayaha. So any other activity that you do. But Shruti Smritibhyam, he is saying in one particular context. Okay. Shruti Smritibhyam Vihita Vratadayaha Punanti Papam Na Lunanti Vasana. So here the Sadvasana Vishkritam. So this Sarovara, if you go, so all the things that are desirable are available there. So then, why keep moving towards some Palvala when there is a Sarovara that is available? Okay. Nitya, so it is like this. Suppose you have two options. So a beautiful lake like Kailasa Manasarovar and some pond where various things come and flow in. Where will you take path? So that is what he is saying. Nityanandarasalayam Suramunis Swantambujatashrayam Swachham Sadvijasevitam Kalushahrit Sadvasana Vishkritam Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Rajamano Namsavatam Sasthidam Kim Shudrashraya Palvala Kamana Sanjata Samam Prapsyasi. Okay, so we'll stop here. Om Sarve Sukhina Santu, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhavi.